Welcome to Geeks Around. This is the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. discussion, episode 105, Girl in the Flower Dress. I'm your host, Matt Moore, and we are being joined by Andy. Once again, I'm not going to pronounce your last name. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing fine. Just call me Andy B. I'm fine with that as well. How are you doing
Andy
today?
B. There we go. We also have Charles. Do we have audio for you, Charles?
Yes, you do.
Awesome. Amazing. All right. And are you doing well, Charles?
I am doing awesome. I cannot wait to talk about this episode. Oh, I'm so excited.
Cool, cool.
I'm
And
so
last but
excited.
certainly least, no, certainly not least, Isaiah Mullins. How we doing, Isaiah?
Oh, I'm awesome. The episode was great, and I'm awesome because I'm black.
Okay. Sorry, I only make fun of you because Todd isn't here for me to make fun of.
I know.
So you're my backup.
Good.
All right, this particular episode, Girl in the Flower Dress, we had predicted a couple weeks back that this would probably be one of the better episodes. And I wasn't disappointed. It was a good foundation episode. It really started to tell the story of what's going to happen. We've been kind of stagnant the past couple episodes, and this really picked up. How did you guys like the episode? Charles, I know you're excited to talk about it. How did you like the episode?
Well, like I said in one of the earlier discussions where we were talking about the show, I had said that if, because of how slow the show was starting off, if it didn't catch my interest by episode 4 or 5, I was going to be out. Episode 4 didn't do it for me, but this current episode, which is episode 5, I was like, yes! I was so happy with how it did it. I thought it was a great episode. I loved it. I thought the villain was great. The woman in the flower dress, I really liked her. I don't remember the character's name. It began with an
Raina.
R, I think.
Raina.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked her. I was like, really? This woman is a bit of a bitch, but I love it. And then the guy Scorch, I was like, oh, I was so cool. I was geeking out during the whole episode.
So do you think one of the main reasons that you liked the episode is because of the fact that it had a superhero? Because the other episode that did really well was the first one, and it had a superhero. And three in between did not.
Well, the thing that I liked, I did like that where they were showing off the guy with Scorch with the firepower. That was very cool, and how they explained how he got that power was cool. But the thing I loved most about it was revealing the grand scheme of the plot for the entire season. I really liked that. I was so happy that they did that, but just the whole episode was great. I thought it was action-packed. I thought the whole thing involving Sky was very cool. I loved it. I thought it was great. So let's have somebody else talk about it now.
Cool. Isaiah, what did you think of it?
I felt like Charles did. It was a strong episode. I had a problem with Scorch though. He was bad in my opinion. But the second villain, Raina, she was amazing. She had a lot of chemistry, a lot of energy for her. And the Sky plot was really interesting. Even when she was in skimpy clothes, I couldn't help but stare.
Oh, yeah, and we'll get to that. How about you, Andy? What did you think of the episode?
Well, at first I was very mixed, and that's the first time it actually happened to me since the show started. And so I watched it like 5 more times today, and I finally realized that it was a great episode. They're finally finding their tone. And I'm liking that we're getting some more minor Marvel characters. Raina is, she's a minor character from the comic as well as Scourge, but they were both done differently from what I understand. The Sky thing, I'm not sure yet, but I do think I like it though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No, go on.
Oh no, I was about to start with the beginning of the storyline. Did you have more to add?
I was gonna say it was emotional watching a heartbroken Coulson because we never seen it before.
Okay. Yeah, he was rather pissed off.
Oh yeah, very pissed off. First time we see him get mad, like literally get
don't
mad.
Coulson angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. Or maybe we will.
That's the Hulk, not Coulson. That's a different
Hey, I
story.
was just... Thanks for ruining it, man. Thanks,
I know.
Killjoy.
That's my job.
Isaiah Mullins ruining jokes since when were you born? Never mind.
Who, me?
Yes.
91.
Yes, ruining jokes since 91. 91?
Yep.
You were 1 year old when I graduated high school.
Wow. Crazy.
So, okay, so we start out the episode with the guy who will eventually be known as Scorch, whose name I did not even take the time to learn. Oh, here it is. It's Chan Ho Yin.
Ho Yin.
Ho Yin.
And yeah, he will eventually be known as Scorch, so I'll probably just call him that from now on.
Yeah, call him Scorch.
Who is an actual street magician, which I thought was rather cool because when I was younger, I wanted to be a magician, so I just thought it was kind of awesome. And then of course he's showing off this egg trick, where an egg turns into streamers, and they're mocking him, and that's when he breaks out with the firepower.
Right.
And we all saw the previews beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So was anyone surprised when he just went, you know what? Fuck you, fire.
No, not really.
No,
I think
really.
that would have been. I think that would have been a cool scene if they hadn't shown that there was a pyromancer in the previews.
Right, if you kept that secret. But no.
Yeah, but then of course he ends up meeting Reina, who is the girl in the flower dress, and. I don't know. The episode, the reason that I thought that this episode was going to be one of the better episodes is because of the fact that there seemed to be a weird pattern in the Dollhouse episodes. I'm comparing it to Dollhouse, where a lot of the Dollhouse episodes were very short titles, and the one long title, which was Man on the Street, was one of the best episodes of Dollhouse. And all the episodes of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have been pretty short until this one. And so that I know that sounds weird, but that's what made me think that this would be a good episode.
Yeah, I get that.
And we find out that this girl in a flower dress, who, by the way, wears a different flower dress at the end of the episode than she's wearing at the beginning. So it's a reoccurring theme with her, is these flower dresses. She ends up meeting up with Shin, who will soon be known as Scorch, and she tries to
persuade him or sway him off his feet.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone here, because I totally did, does anyone here think that she was trying to make him think that she was trying to seduce him?
Yeah.
Even though she never once flirted with him, actually?
I didn't really get that vibe. I think what she did seem a bit flirtatious, but I could tell that it was completely fake. I didn't really notice. I didn't really get that kind of vibe, but I'm not normally attuned to that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
Well, that's just it. Is what caused me to think that is because of the fact that I didn't think she was flirting with him. But at the same time, she was asking something that would normally be considered flirtatious, very flirtatious, and that's to go back to his place.
Right.
It's like
that was. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, if a stranger asks to go back to your place, it's normally not so she can see magic tricks.
Right. She wants to see the other magic trick.
Exactly.
The magic trick.
I was gonna say that whole scene where where he took her back to his place. It was that was one of my issues with the episode. I had very few issues with the episode, but that was one of them. It seemed too cliche. It was like, oh come on, really? It was one of those moments where I just yeah. Wait, what did you say?
I was asking if you mean it seemed too contrived.
Yeah, I'd say
Like it
it.
was
I'd say that.
in there specifically to achieve a goal.
Yeah, it just it. I mean, it's not really a major issue, but I noticed it. But once it was over, I was like, no big deal.
And absolutely no one on this panel, I'm sure, or anyone that watched the show at all, was surprised when Jin was kidnapped.
Oh no, I saw that coming from a mile away.
Same here. It was like it was too easy.
I had seen
And
the
that was
clips in advance, so.
And that was the first of 2 times we are not surprised by a surprise.
Yeah.
First
Right.
of 3 times if you count the fire from earlier. Or second of 3 times.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of surprises in this episode, though it was a good episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a lot of surprises, but yeah.
Let's see. We find out that Scorch actually has already been identified and confronted by S.H.I.E.L.D. And S.H.I.E.L.D. told him, "Hey, you can still live out in the open, but you can't use your powers in public." And apparently, this guy had broken that rule a couple times, and obviously a third time in the show. And so he had a caseworker and all of this other fun stuff, and he's feeling very repressed. I had an issue with that because of the fact that I would think that if you were a pyromancer, which is very destructive, you'd have more than a caseworker. Like someone would be on your ass constantly.
Yeah, like a probation officer.
Yeah, like you'd be checking in with that guy all the fucking time.
Yeah, because if he's like known for doing it so often, like should you get like more people on his ass than this one person?
And this is probably me just nitpicking, so stop me if it gets too out of hand. But just one of my other issues was that.
Stop, too out of hand.
You ass. But just another one of my issues is that just the name that they gave it. They called him a pyromancer. That is like something out of a fantasy novel. I was thinking they'd use something across the lines of a pyrokinetic.
Oh, they might have called him a pyrokinetic. I don't know what they call him.
Oh, they call him pyromancer.
They called him a pyromancer, and I was like, no, that's
When
like
did
something out of.
when did they say that?
I think they only said it like twice.
It was in Colson, and he was talking to Sky about the guy's powers, and that situation, like how many people was there in the world with powers. He said not that much, but yeah.
Now I have a question.
What's that?
This S.H.I.E.L.D. index, is that something that is taken from the comics, or is that something they come up with themselves?
What do you mean the S.H.I.E.L.D. index? Like
Yeah, the program.
index of all the superheroes?
Yeah, the program that Colton was talking about. I saw a review somewhere on the internet that said that, they introduced this S.H.I.E.L.D. index, major aspect of the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization or something like that.
Well, I mean, in the Marvel universe, pretty much every superhero at one point was cataloged and filed.
Yeah,
At
they
least
use
most
that
of them
during
during Civil War.
Right, because since they had Captain America and everything else, S.H.I.E.L.D. kept logs of all these other characters or any type of supernatural person or mutant under logs. So yes, the index was very useful in the S.H.I.E.L.D. Industry in the comic books.
Okay.
Let me see. Then we end up going over to. We end up going over to S.H.I.E.L.D. We find out that the reason that this guy got kidnapped is because of the fact that someone hacked in and found this guy through the S.H.I.E.L.D. servers. They find out that it is, drumroll, I forgot the name of the organization. The one Sky used to
Rising Tide.
Rising Tide, thank you.
Drumroll, please. I forgot the name.
Yeah. I was stalling. Give me a break. I was stalling.
Okay.
But at least I'll admit it. But it's and then of course they end up following her and tracking her down, and it ends up being her boyfriend.
Yeah, that was kind of it was kind of natural, but it was some at the same time kind of a letdown in my book. Like It could be someone kind of cool, but it wasn't. It was kind of like a
It was
meh.
underwhelming, and I don't know if I'm going ahead, but just the scene where they when they went they found him at the internet cafe. He received a text message. He made Ward. He ran. Coulson chased him. He used the traffic lights to block the way. Coulson lost him. Got to the apartment. At the apartment, Sky showed up, and they bumped uglies. And then they were started doing the old good old fashioned pillow talk afterwards, and
Yeah,
it's I mean, I didn't really expect that to happen, but when it did happen, I was like, eh. I mean, I wasn't excited. I wasn't underwhelmed. I was just indifferent about the whole thing.
yeah,
Well, that's just it. Is we've had this mystery hanging over our heads since episode 1 of who is Sky communicating with, and we're thinking that she's part of some like grand scheme,
scheme of things.
this conspiracy, and we find out nope, she was just talking to her boyfriend.
Yeah,
But he's still part of
Well,
the organization, so it still counts.
well, just in that episode, I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before, but she received a text message from someone in the Rising Tide, and she said, "I'm
Episode
in."
2.
that was episode 2.
Episode
Oh,
2.
I thought it was
Okay.
episode 1. Okay, but yeah, it was.
And that I don't think that was her boyfriend. I think it was somebody else.
Nah, it was her boyfriend because they went over that specifically. Like, yeah, that's what I text. Like, said I was in and all that nonsense. Like, yeah, it was like, oh, that was your boyfriend. Oh,
Well, now that that's got me thinking, and this is probably speculation, so look out, guys. It's just maybe the whole Rising Tide thing is just between her and a boyfriend, because I have to admit, and this is going to make me sound like an idiot, but in the first episode,
too late.
I thought, shut up. I, in the first episode, I thought the only people involved with Rising Tide was Sky. I thought it was all her. I didn't think there was anybody else. I didn't think it was a massive organization. I thought it was just her.
But then
Now,
later in the
one
episode, she
problem with that.
mentions,
Sorry, go on. Go on.
in this episode, she does mention to Coulson that they are activists all over the world, basically. So
Yes.
it couldn't have been just her.
Right. It's like anonymous,
And-
really.
And they're
Oh.
in the first. I think it was the first episode. They, yeah, it was the first episode. Ward is actually before he joined S.H.I.E.L.D., he is actually actively in a Rising Tide compound at the time. Remember when he first shows off, like, oh, I can kick lots of ass? That was he was infiltrating Rising Tide at
Paris?
the time.
Oh yeah, that was a scene. It was like, wow, that was a scene. Oh wow, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Been a
Yeah,
month.
5 weeks.
I'm gonna have to watch that episode again because I don't remember that.
I know at least the guy downstairs in the suit was Rising Tide, so I assume the whole building probably was, but maybe not.
Yeah, but then that makes me think that they were more than just simple hacktivists behind a computer screen. They were tactical, they were coordinated, they had strategy, that kind of
They hit
stuff.
S.H.I.E.L.D. up easily.
Yeah. So that might make Rising Tide a bit of a threat now, which is underwhelming because I'm still hoping for Hydra to be the major threat, even though it's not going to happen. But hey, I can dream, can I?
Well, that's just it. Is in you were talking about this last week, but I wasn't here last week. Is I really don't think it's going to be Hydra because of the fact that Hydra doesn't really work with biomechanical things. They normally deal with mystical biological things.
Well, I
and
mean, it'd be like the
biological.
two. It'd be like the two fighting each other. I mean, it's like, oh, damn it, stop smashing my dreams.
Yeah, but
If it were a big bad, which they've already identified the big bad as an organization by the name of Centipede, but if
Right.
there is a bigger bad than that, it would probably be AIM.
or Hammer.
Well, I don't know who
Yeah.
Hammer is, but I know who.
I don't
Amy
know what
is.
Hammer is.
Hammer is in the comic books. It was made in the Dark Avengers saga, and it was made by Harry Osborn. And their colors is red and black, which is a
All
girl in
right,
a red
that does not
and
surprise me Wait, are you saying Harry Osborn or Norman Osborn?
Norman Osborn. Sorry, I got confused between those
Well,
two.
well
But
then it would have to be changed on the show because, or
yeah,
I
because
don't know, maybe. No, go on.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say Norman Osborn cannot
Wait.
be.
The
I'm sorry.
hammer you're thinking of is different than the hammer I'm thinking of. Then I was thinking of Justin Hammer, who
No, I think the
is
hammer he's talking about is an acronym like S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, the funny thing behind that acronym, there's no acronym behind Hammer, because Norman Osborn said there's no acronym for Hammer. It's just Hammer. He just put it like that to be witty. So
I guess
Hammer's like that.
to combat. Just I don't know. I
It
never
was,
heard of hammer before you mentioning it, so I know nothing.
it was a dark. It was a Dark Avengers saga. It's a very long one. Anyways, to go back to this show because of the
Yeah.
long story.
now I forgot where we were. Let's
um,
Hi,
see. Yeah, they end up capturing the boyfriend, who
yeah,
again, Miles. Almost forgot his name too. End up capturing the boyfriend, and the third most obvious thing that happened in the episode, in which he opens the door and poof, there's Melinda May.
that was obvious.
and she was mad.
Oh yeah, she was
That was
pissed.
her happy face.
While I predicted that, I however predicted that it would be Coulson, not May. But that was the only part I was wrong on. I knew there was
Well,
going to be something behind that
I knew
door.
it was gonna be May because May's a little bit more faster than Coulson, and plus she's
I
more
thought it was
stealthy.
gonna be Ward.
And I think it makes sense that it would have been. I don't think it would have been Ward because it would have been too obvious. He is her supervising officer. Um, Coulson trusts Melinda May to, I would even say, to a fault, and I guess he would send her to follow them, while Ward would try to question as to why he'd be following her. Melinda would follow her with no questions asked.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something that I noticed in the last episode is that Melinda May can tell Coulson, "Hey, I'm doing this," and Coulson will
right.
be like, "Okay, go ahead, have fun."
Well, she is
Like,
the cavalry, so I guess she knows what she's doing.
Or
yeah,
people
exactly.
he don't want to fuck with her. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna mess with her.
Exactly. Where he could give her orders, he knows that he should only do so in extreme circumstances.
Or reasonable ones.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of respect there. But let's see. Back to oh yeah, and they end up tracking down. Where is it? Before packing him away. Oh, okay. Then we go back to Chan, and they're like showing Chan, hey, these are all the cool powers you can do, and you should try this out.
That's what he gave him a
And like
nickname.
he basically does the exact same thing he was doing before, except a little bit larger.
Yeah, he was pretty much
Which
his ego,
I was a little underwhelmed. I was hoping for some Human Torch kind of action.
but that's too much money. But they boosted his ego up to a very extreme. Like they gave him a nickname. They said he was special and all that nonsense. Not to hide his power. I was like, wow, that's gonna be a bad chemistry. Ego and
I mean,
powers.
I still think Scorch was a cool villain, but I have to agree with Isaiah. I mean, just the stuff that they were telling him was just feeding his ego to a huge level to where it may not even be able to fit in the building.
Also, one last thing, his English was not understandable at times. It was very hard to understand what he was talking about. Like,
Uh,
I'm,
I didn't have problems understanding.
I didn't have
I
any
did.
issues with his accent. I mean, his accent was noticeable, but it wasn't like to a point where it's like, say that again. It's just,
When he
yeah.
spoke his line, in Chinese, it was more better. It was more better and more. It was more human instead of forced English. I was getting from him like it was kind of forced English in these lines.
So
Yeah.
Isaiah, you're saying he don't speak English good?
It could be, but hey, you said it, not me.
Um, let's see. Yeah, they find out it's Scorch, and then basically as soon as they realize, okay, like the extremists that we just put in him is stable now that it's in his body, because
Right.
apparently his platelets are fire resistant, and that's what the extremists does.
They needed platelets.
they end up they end up knocking him out and pulling his his blood out, and I guess replacing it with regular blood.
Yeah, which was kind of odd.
Too
Yeah, I don't see
scientific.
why they would have kept him alive.
Right, they could have just killed him.
They
Yeah,
just wanted
that's.
to troll
It's just I wanted. When they mentioned that they were taking his blood platelets out, I'm not a doctor, and I thought that was a part of the blood. I didn't think they were taking all the blood out. I thought they was taking out the platelets. But now I'm probably sounding like an idiot by saying that. But I,
I don't
I
think you
thought
are.
that,
I think you might be right.
Yeah, it
it's
could
just
be.
I think that after they were done with him, they would have killed him. I think that was the plan anyway. But why not kill him, take the blood platelets, and toss his body into a dumpster out back?
Yeah, that's kind of like easier.
It would have
Yeah.
actually been harder to take out blood or blood platelets if he were dead, because the fact that they would have had to hook a pump up to him, where they don't
And
need to
have
hook
it
a pump up to him if his heart's beating.
Uh,
circulate through the
Yeah.
body and all that. Gotcha.
well, it could give him
So
some drugs to keep his
that's
powers
kind of
down.
nitpicking, though.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I nitpick. I mean, so
We
Well,
know.
no, I basically I was nitpicking in reverse. I was explaining something a way that didn't really need to be explained away.
okay.
Let's see, and then of course, Shield comes to the rescue. You've got
Dun, da, da.
As
you've
usual.
got Sky going in so she can. What was she doing? She was opening the door, I think.
It's something about the security access because
No,
some stupid crap. Oh, it was like they needed her because she was the best hacker out there, and plus her ex-boyfriend was also useful too. It was something that was like, really, you need her to open the door? You could have blown that building half apart.
And I think there was one thing that we missed. I don't know if it affected you guys a bit, but earlier in the apartment, at Sky's apartment, where Melinda May had found him, and then Ward, Fitzsimmons, and Coulson were there. Coulson was pissed and all that, but we didn't talk about how Ward was reacting to the whole thing. I mean, when I saw him, like when she was trying to explain the situation to him, he told her to hold up her hands and he put the cuffs on her. Just the expression on his face just screamed betrayal.
he was
And-
feebled hard, and I think that's
Yeah.
hard for him.
Yeah.
He was very heartbroken by the whole notion.
I don't want to say heartbroken. I just want to say like maybe
He was heartbroken.
maybe he had anticipated the thing, but he was hoping that he was going to be wrong, and he ended up being right.
What
So-
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember
then,
earlier in the show that Ward had said that she's a security risk because of her affiliation with Rising Tide. And then when he was training her and he was starting to earn her trust and she was starting to earn his, I guess in this situation he was kind of hoping that maybe she was going to be good to them and leave Rising Tide. And this sort of proved him wrong or something.
Well, that actually brings up a relatively good point. Is you had Melinda May standing outside their door, being creepy, by the way.
Yeah.
While
Creepy
Sky
Melinda.
and Miles or Giles or whatever his name is, were doing the ugly, and so she ended up hearing all that pillow talk afterwards, and she heard Sky say multiple times, "I can't tell you, it's classified. I can't tell you, it's classified, but I'll tell you later."
But how do we know that she was there all along? Like maybe she just snuck in like during like the last 3 minutes or something.
Well, she did say that, or maybe it was Coulson that said that that Melinda May was following Sky. It wasn't a let's track Sky down type of situation. It was
I
let's
remember-
follow her.
I remember Coulson specifically telling Melinda to follow her,
Yeah.
and that's how they found out.
Right. And it also was dropping a lot of reference. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So Melinda May more than likely was there for the entire conversation, and possibly the sex before.
Yeah, probably.
But maybe
And
she
she
didn't
might have
care.
known.
Maybe she was like looking around, like what's going on? It's cool stuff.
No, she was eager-
I can see it happening. It's just Sky and Miles doing the doing.
She's reading the paper.
I'm trying to think
Wow.
of a way. Yeah, just the bow chicka wow wow, and Melinda was just. You can hear the moaning and the banging of the bed, and then Melinda is just walking through the. It's
Someone
just
saying, "Oh
walking through
God,
the
oh God."
apartment, picking up things, lifting up pillows, just looking at the stuff, not paying any attention to what's happening in the room.
No,
And
she knew
I
what was
think
going on.
that'd be, yeah,
She was
yeah,
reading the paper. Like, I'm gonna wait. It's gonna take a while.
like, oh damn it, I can't whistle for shit, but you get the idea.
Like,
Uh,
pose for the camera.
And
also,
band.
also, Miles, well, Sky's ex-boyfriend, Miles, he dropped a lot of interesting references about hackers and all that nonsense, like Brett Snowden, Manning, and so on and so forth, which is kind of like, oh, okay, that was out of nowhere.
Well,
But he just kept talking and talking. That was just so annoying.
just just the whole Miles talking was annoying. It's like, oh come on,
Yeah, it
just shut up
was.
already. But just the whole thing, bringing in
About the whole
Snowden,
secret.
Manning, Assange, any of those guys, the other conversations aside, just I thought that bringing those names in kind of added the realism, saying like this is more relatable because this stuff is happening in our world, so it's kind of cool that
Right.
it's happening in this world as well. And I thought it was
Yeah,
more
but
relatable, and I kind of thought it was a
yeah,
good plot move.
Well, that's
yeah, but
that's
then
kind of a point I made in the Dexter episodes, is that you have the main cast, you have the good guys. In this particular case, they're the good guys. In Dexter, he was the bad guy, and then you have the people against that person, and depending on what story you happen to be telling, they're all good guys. Like S.H.I.E.L.D. is the good guys, but so
Mhm.
is the Rising Tide. I mean, if they
Well,
did a show about the rising tide, it could be a show about good guys.
yeah, it could be.
yeah,
But it's just whenever Miles was talking, I just thought that he was a true believer to where he was just basically a fanatic. And every time he talked, I was like, God damn it, just shut up.
but she was no true person
There
like
were,
that. He was a what's that word? A turncoat, really, accepting all that money. Like, really, dude? This
well,
is a
yeah.
million dollars.
As soon as the money came into play, I was like, really? I guess it always comes down to money. You sell out. Just, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I just thought. I mean, just overall, I thought Miles was just annoying. They had a few moments where he was helping Shield, doing the hacking and all that. That was kind of cool. But
Hmm.
just whenever he would talk about this, what the Rising Tide stand for, I was like, you know what? Just shut up. Just stop talking.
And apparently, this is the actor that played him. That's apparently Chloe Bennett's real life boyfriend.
Seriously?
What?
Yeah,
Chloe
I
Bennett?
saw like, yeah, the girl who plays Sky.
Oh wow,
Yes.
really?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
All right, all right. I have to say this right now. I really hate it when two actors are dating and they play characters who are also dating in the same show. I really hate it when they do that.
You
How
know
did they
what's
Nothing
can't?
cooler than
back.
that? You know what's better than that? When they're playing brother and sister and they're married.
Oh God.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that was
Oh!
Dexter. Oh God.
that was
Wait,
just
Mm,
creepy.
wait. Are you
yeah.
talking about Dexter and Deborah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They were
They
married.
were married.
Are they
The
married
actor and
now?
actress were married.
Were they
No,
married or are they still married?
No,
they
no,
were
they were
divorced
married.
now.
They got divorced about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Still
that
creepy.
that. Oh, that.
However,
well,
Well,
you
you
do
know.
get
Never mind.
you do get couples who do a great job together.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
anyway,
what's kind of interesting, and I'll try and keep this short, is in True Blood, Anna Paquin and
gotta
I
pick Bill
forget his
Compton.
real name, the guy who plays Bill Compton, they
Right.
are either
They're
about to
married.
be married or just married or whatever.
They've been married for a few years now,
Yeah.
and they are about to have their second child.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. And the thing is he is her ex in the TV show,
Hmm.
and she won't even fucking talk to him half the time. But she is in the show having sex with every other male character
I
except
know
Jason.
she's a whore.
Yeah. So he's gotta come to this show and watch his wife getting naked with
Bang
all
every
these
dude.
different guys, and never him.
Well, I guess he has the mentality. It's all a part of the show.
I guess
It's not.
so.
Until we
Yeah.
start doing an oral test.
But getting back to Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that was the show we were talking about, right?
Yes, it was.
No, we were talking about Arrow, Agents of Arrow.
Arrow? Damn it, I haven't watched Arrow yet.
Oh, it was so good tonight.
Oh,
It was a mixed bag.
I've got it DVR'd. I just haven't seen it yet.
Okay, good.
Let me see. Where were we? Okay, so they end up draining Scorch of his platelets, and they do that by making him pass out with like the gas coming out of canisters or whatever. I totally thought that was stupid, but hey.
Yeah, I was like, it just looks like steam to me. It doesn't really
It was
look
too
like
silly.
any type of gas. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he's knocked out. Something must have been in that steam. And then, oh look, he's tied to a bed. So, yay, he's unconscious. Whatever.
It wasn't foreplay.
Yep.
And oh yeah, and they're pulling the platelets out, and for some strange reason, putting blood back in. Because for them to pull the platelets out, they have to pull the blood out and then put the blood back in without the platelets. Because I've had my platelets taken out because I give blood all the time. So for them to do that, they have to be recycling the blood through him, when they could have just freaking killed him. And I don't understand why they didn't just freaking kill him.
I guess it was just for the sake of the plot.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
A plot
Marina was
device.
just a big troll. She was like, you know what? He's gonna have to suffer instead of dying.
Yeah. Rain was the hot troll.
But she was. I think she was a really compelling villain, by the way. And she's gonna come back, I think. So, and I think that
Well,
would be
she
nice.
has to.
Well, she's recurring, so.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is if you end up leaving him there, and he somehow escapes or he gets rescued or whatever, he's going to build those platelets back up, and he's going to have as much power as he did before. And now you have an enemy. Like, I don't see why Reyna would have left him alive. But that is just me, again, nitpicking. I nitpick. I
Maybe
apologize.
she's up.
Maybe
she's out,
she
like,
wanted to unleash him on S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think that they actually did do that. It was like they were it was Rena and the redheaded doctor. They were trying to leave, and he was trying to hunt them down, but he was also angry at Shield because when Shield tried to rescue him, he like killed Agent Kwan, and then he started flat out attacking Coulson and Melinda May. And
Yeah.
Rena and the other doctor thought, well, let Shield deal with him, or we'll escape. And that kind of made sense to me. It's as a distraction tactic, I guess.
And then the joke of that whole fight was like, oh great, they gave him a nickname.
That
Yeah,
was
I
the
thought-
best
I thought
line of
that
the
was-
whole episode.
Yeah.
And then there was I'm going to shoot him in the back with these tranquilizer darts.
Right.
But he burns those tranquilizer darts
Easily.
in midair, which I have to. I understand that this is a sci-fi show, but seriously, for him to have had the heat to be able to do that, he would have burned through the floor as well.
Yeah, basically.
And his clothes.
And his clothes, exactly.
Yeah, his clothes are fireproof too.
Yeah, and since his platelets were gone, his body was no longer protected from the flames. So at that kind of heat, he probably would have ended up killing himself.
Matter of fact,
Exactly.
he had extremists in him too, so it makes it even
Yeah.
more hotter and more dangerous.
Yeah.
So
And without the platelets, the extremists would, what's the word I'm looking for? Explode.
Make him
Disable-
explode.
combust.
Spontaneous combustion.
Now I have
And
a
then, of
question
course,
about the extremists. No,
Yeah,
sorry, go
question
on.
about it?
Oh, I was just about to get to the end, so go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Yeah, I kept thinking a lot about Iron Free that night when they were keep referencing extremis. Like, do you think there's gonna be ever an explanation to how that actually surpassed, after Iron Man defeated Mandarin and so on, like how that is still out there?
Well, like what Matt was saying earlier is when I was mentioning about Hydra showing up, that he said that it would most likely be AIM. Well,
Or hammer.
Um, but
AIM would still exist, even though what's his face is
uh,
dead.
Aldrich Killian. Aldrich Killian is dead, and technically he was the leader of AIM. But I'm sure that he had people that were under him that would have taken over if he died or if he left. So maybe now I'm not saying Centipede is directly involved with AIM, but maybe they've worked with AIM in the past, and they managed to get access to the Extremis formula.
They do have
And
ties to AIM.
yeah,
Somebody was referencing that the suits that some of the doctors were wearing, like these big, like protecting suits, was apparently a hint to AIM.
maybe. Well, for all we know, Centipede is AIM.
Yeah, it's a
So
maybe a
Okay,
code
can
name.
we just remark on how stupid a name Centipede is? Can
It
we
is
just
stupid.
acknowledge that?
Did they
Yeah.
even say that it was a name? I never heard that.
Well,
They,
Centipede.
they gave it a name.
The people involved with Centipede never actually called themselves Centipede. The only reason why they were Shield was the ones that called them that, and the only reason why they did was because of the Centipede device that was on the arm that fed the Extremis cocktail into J. August Richards' character in the first episode.
Right.
And
So they got,
they also found it when they were backtracking who hacked into the Shield server.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they found reference to Centipede.
right.
Okay.
But
So
Centipede is they've never actually called themselves Centipede. Technically, they don't call themselves anything.
for right now,
Yeah, for right now. So for all we know, it is AIM.
I'm saying
And
Hammer. I
if
don't
we
care.
are incorrect on that, because something tells me that we're probably missing something on that particular topic, if we are missing something and you're watching this video, please put it in the comments. We want to hear from you.
Please.
Yes.
And
In the comments.
then, of course, we have the wrap-up where Coulson decides, you know what, Scorch is... now I want to call him Screech. I don't know why I want to call him Screech, but I do.
Because he's annoying.
Maybe that's it. He realizes that this guy is beyond redemption and says, you know what, it's time for this guy to go. So they pump him with more extremists, which I thought was actually a pretty good idea. However, a better idea would be to have distracted him like they did and just shoot him in the fucking head.
Right. Like, you could have done it the easy way. Like, shoot him. Or let him burn
Yeah,
up.
they had a clear shot. Shoot him in the back of the head.
I would have thought that injecting the Extremis into him, causing him to combust, was overkill. Shooting him in the head
Yeah.
would have been simpler.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the explosion was even more funny. You're like, oh, you guys are going to revert the vents and close all the
But
doors.
I think the only reason why they did it was for the sake of the plot. So.
Yeah, but the explosion was kind of silly, though. Really, really silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it went into like this, this spiral. I'm like, wow, that is so coordinated and everything.
Yeah, well, the fakers want to do that either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is actually something I didn't think of. Is what if they made sure that explosion happened specifically so the lab could be blown up and they have to deal with the lab in a later episode? Because if the lab wasn't blown up, they'd have a lot of information on this particular group, Centipede. So maybe they had to explode the lab so they wouldn't have that information.
Ward had Sky hack into the database of the lab to unlock the doors to get them out of that room, and they were fighting Scorch. And it only took Sky a few minutes, but one of the things that she did was she also hacked into their database. So they do have information on Centipede. They don't have a lot, but they do have some information.
Yeah. And, of course, that's when, like, Sky's already confessed everything. She's already been like, you know what, he's my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend. I have not been trying to hurt S.H.I.E.L.D. in any way. I'm just trying to get information from S.H.I.E.L.D. about my past.
Her parents, really.
Coulson's all like, yeah, you're hiding something from me, and she's all like, well, this. And she grabs her boobs. Oh, wait, no. She grabs something from her bra, which is a chip that's got all the information on her family and
But she probably touched her boob a little bit when she went in there.
Yeah, I could care less.
You
I
can
won't
tell
say that
that
again.
this is an all-male panel.
We need women on this panel.
And I gotta touch on something that happened earlier in the episode. Just the whole scene after they bumped uglies with Sky and Miles. She was so hot.
Yeah.
She was just
No
hot.
shit.
She was just hot with all
Yeah,
that.
I could stare at her body
With the
all day.
bra and the panties going like, oh damn.
Yep, just put that in slow motion, it'd be good. Like, okay.
People were complaining about it being like, oh, they're having her almost like skinny, all clothes, no, without clothes almost all the time. Like, this is like the first episode she's actually been half naked or whatever. So I don't get why
Well,
they were complaining.
there was an episode, I think it was episode 3, where she was running from a mansion wearing that red dress.
Yay.
And she was soaking wet, if I remember correctly. And
Yeah,
she was
it
very
was
bouncy at the time.
Like
Yes,
bouncy,
it was
bouncy,
very-
bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
And then,
It
of
was like
course,
watching
in
Baywatch.
the first episode was the scene in which she takes off the jacket to show off her boobs for Ward.
Maybe
Yeah,
it was
that was-
warm. Good lord, leave it alone.
Maybe it was warm, and she wasn't trying to make him uncomfortable, even though she specifically said that she was trying to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was a nice scene.
Yeah, it's been every other episode that she's shown some skin.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yes, it was. I got
But,
one word to say to that whole thing. Boing.
All right.
So should we get to the should we get to the ending? Like with the
Yes,
with the-
let's get to the
woman
ending.
All right. Let's see. What was the ending?
The woman was talking to this guy in prison. We don't know what the location was, but she told him that they need his services, and he said he likes that dress. He said, and she said, she knows
I know.
She knows he, yeah, she knows.
I know.
And that dress was very red and black, which is like Hammer, red and black.
Okay, and what did it represent when she was wearing a blue and white one?
Simple, nothing.
Well,
Troll.
the T-shirt that was worn by Aldrich Killian at the beginning of Iron Man 3 was the AIM T-shirt, and the T-shirt was white, but the letters of the word AIM were blue.
Again, Hammer was black and red, but she had a dress on.
Oh, stop it! Let's face it. It's going to be AIM. Damn it!
It's gonna be Hammer.
No.
Anyways.
Red Skull and
Let's go. He's
Oh
dead.
God.
He's not coming back.
I was kidding. Man, I was kidding.
You're all
Hugo
great.
even
Okay.
Hugo Weaving even said that he wasn't going to come back to play Red Skull, which sucks. I want him back.
Well, he has a
fuck him,
contract he has to do, but he was like, no, I wasn't really fond of this, but I will do it if I have to, or something.
All right. Now, do we have any wild speculations? Anyone have a guess as to what's going to happen next?
One of the twins are going to die, and I can't wait.
Oh,
No.
we have to mention that is Fitz and Simmons. We had almost no Fitz and Simmons crazy talk.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes,
Thank
I was
God.
so happy about that.
Yes.
Well, the tone is changing for the show. Like they're actually going away from this whole, this silly and not silly, but going away from this
This is witty.
what witty, yeah, into this more serious tone. So it's finding its balance. It's finding its balance now, and it's good.
Yes. Yeah, I was kind of glad. I thought I heard their fucking voice again. Like, oh, thank you. No more science gibble gobble.
I do have a type of speculation that I was thinking about right after I watched the episode. Now, this is highly unlikely. It's like a 99.999% chance of not happening. But I'd say that, like, with the character, with that crap, I don't even remember his name, Dr. Hall, the guy that got into that gravitonium stuff, and he might be coming back to play Graviton. I think, and like I said, a 99.9999% chance of not happening. Maybe it might happen that maybe one of the heroes from the movies might show up and fight him.
They need someone who they captured before.
If they were able to do it with Nick Fury, with Samuel L. Jackson and Nick Fury, they can probably do it with someone like Chris Hemsworth or Robert Downey Jr. or Mark Ruffalo, even though that's highly unlikely, or even Chris Evans, Steve Rogers. It could happen. I mean, they did it with Samuel L. Jackson.
I think it will happen.
With Baritone, you need a
Isaiah, I have a question for you.
yeah.
What is the name of the group that cleans up after the superheroes?
That is called damage control.
Thank you. Damage control. What if we get a situation like that? What if Graviton ends up fighting, for example, Iron Man, and Shield has to clean up after that and has to work with the destruction that follows? That would be kind of cool. And maybe they can introduce the idea of a superhero group that does that specifically.
Well, people have been talking about that too lately. Like just now, like do they need a superpowered team? Like do they need a superpowered person on the team because would make things easier or would make the story easier to tell? I don't know because I say no because I might ruin this. It might ruin the show for me.
Well, that's just it. Is they already have an out. Like anytime that they need a plot device, they've got Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons is there. We need something to fight this one bad guy.
Right, and when he
It
got
doesn't matter who it is. Like if they were going against Thor, they'd be like, Fitzsimmons, find us something to go against Thor. Like gods can't fight Thor, but you know what? Fitzsimmons would. And so they already have like an answer to everything.
Well,
right.
here's another bit of speculation that goes with what I was saying, that maybe they may not bring in the big names, but they might bring in the suit of armor, like Iron Man's suit of armor. Like they wouldn't actually show Robert Downey Jr.'s face, but they would show the suit of armor fighting a big bad. Like off in the distance, where you have the S.H.I.E.L.D. guys running around, scurrying about like insects.
Not based on what happened in Iron Man 3.
But you need Don Cheadle's suit, because all the other suits were destroyed in Iron Man 3. But Don Cheadle has his suit, the Iron Patriot.
The Iron Patriot, yeah.
Which that's you can't trust because it always gets corrupted somehow.
So I think
Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, both of them got corrupted.
Yeah. But some of that suit made out alive. I don't know why.
Speculation.
No, you're not allowed one.
Okay.
No, go ahead. What's up?
We learned that Sky's looking for her parents, and I'm wondering if could these be Marvel characters, perhaps? Could she be connected to something that we haven't seen yet?
That's true. You would think that Sky, by now, being the hacker that she is, would have found a trail, would have figured out who her parents are, unless there was a huge global conspiracy, or, I don't know, the information was redacted by S.H.I.E.L.D., which was what actually happened.
Why would they do that? That's what I'm wondering. Why would S.H.I.E.L.D. do that? Like, what? It has to be something really bad then about those two parents.
Like,
or those parents were superheroes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Or S.H.I.E.L.D. agents themselves.
That could be true.
That could make sense. Like, they'd both be S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and they were, like, killed in the line of duty.
It kind of reminds me of Peter Parker's parents, then.
Or maybe one of her parents is dead, and the other one is still alive, but is in hiding.
Or it's a villain. They could be villains, by the way.
There's actually a storyline that happened recently in the TV show Scandal that I could see happening here, and that is that this person's husband or son was a CIA operative who had gone undercover in a terrorist organization, died in the terrorist organization, and as a result was branded a traitor, even though he was ultimately working for the CIA. But they couldn't admit that he was actually working for the CIA because the guy had recruited other Americans to work with America undercover as a terrorist. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so basically, what if it's a situation like that? What if her parents were spies who, if they were revealed to be spies, would actually hurt other assets, other agents?
That would be interesting plot.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
What you think?
So, Yeah, 2 weeks of hiatus, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it
Not
does.
for me, actually.
I hate it when shows do that.
Yeah,
Like,
I do too.
is something happening next Tuesday in TV?
Baseball, sports, whatever.
Boring.
Uh-oh. He said it, not me. I'll be over
not
here.
to a majority of American citizens. Sorry, Charles.
Last time I went to a baseball game, I fell asleep.
Okay,
that?
he said.
I said last time I went to a baseball game, which was like about 8 years ago, I fell asleep. It was a nice nap, too.
Oh God, here comes evil hate mail.
Bring on the hate speech. I don't care.
You can find Charles Whedon at charleswhedon at googleplus.com.
Yeah, you put the link. Link will be below.
So, I guess that's it, unless anyone else has anything to say.
Nope, I'm pretty much good on speculation.
I hate waiting, but nope,
wow, we are going to wrap up at almost exactly an hour.
Wow, good job.
Wow.
First time
Woo!
ever.
Once we put the intro and outro out, we'll be at almost exactly an hour. All right. Well, make sure to check us out at geeksoftheround.com. Check out our Facebook page, geeksoftheround.com, or sorry, facebook.com/geeksoftheround. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/geeksoftheround. You can follow me at youtube.com/NOBODEY. You can follow Diano at youtube.com/EvoAnubis, EVOANUBIS. Anyone else want to pimp out their social media or anything like that?
You can pretty much see you can see my blog site over there because people can see it. Right there, right there.
Yeah, on the mine it says I'm the host of Helicarrier the S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, which is a podcast I host every week, and just follow me at S.H.I.E.L.D. Assemble, and you can find all the information there.
Right.
Cool. And we also do on Tuesdays, we do our Blacklist discussion, which is normally me, Todd, and Johan. Check it out. We're much looser on that particular podcast, which is to say we're much more, I don't know the word.
Crazier?
What's that?
Sophisticated.
Crazier?
The opposite of sophisticated.
So crazy.
Whatever the opposite of sophisticated is, that's what we are.
Bad shit's crazy.
And on Mondays we do our Walking Dead discussions, so check those out.
Don't forget. Don't forget Thursdays too, where we have American Horror.
Thursday is American Horror Story.
Yes.
And we don't have anything on Friday, though we might soon.
We might.
Arrow.
No. It's a good show, but no.
I want to do Arrow. I'm just too busy. If anyone would do Arrow, it would be me, and I've just been too busy right now. Maybe after Halloween Haunt is over.
Cool.
Halloween Hunt.
Maybe, because I have another project in the works. But all right, thank you for watching, and for all of Geeks Around, see ya.